This is the BBC Home Service. Good morning, everybody.
In the 1940s, makeup for women was all about the eyes and lips, a strong look that kept spirits high and a sense of normality, insisting that wartime didn't have to mean the end of glamour and pride in one's appearance. This was also true for women in the military, or at least for women in the military on a lower low. In this demo, Daisy Makutsi takes us through the basic makeup steps to achieve this iconic 40s look. With hairstyling and costume, she will then create the character of Rhine Maiden's sex symbol Private Helga Gerhardt.
Okay, what we're going to do first, Lindsay, is start off with a generic 1940s look.
After cleansing and moisturising Lindsay's face, this will help to protect your skin from drying out under stage lighting. Daisy begins by applying a general cover of foundation, a touch darker than Lindsay would usually wear to stop her bleaching out under the stage lights.
Finishing powder is really, it can be really quite important on stage or even in film. It's basically used to stop shine on the face under lights, and if you're sweating it kind of takes the sheen away, which is quite nice. In the 1940s the cheek was quite subtle. It wasn't say like an 80s blatant pink cheek. It was more of a rosy glow. So we'll go for a light pink.
You've got that look that leaves me weak. You with your eyes across the table technique.
The eyebrow was kind of, if you think of kind of screen icons like Marlene and Dietrich. Now Helga, the character we're basing today's demonstration on, she has kind of a lovely gold eyeshadow going on. It's kind of that iconic look you'd see Marilyn Monroe or Andrew's sisters, Betty Page, Screen Sirens.
Using a liquid eyeliner, Daisy then adds a tiny flick at the side of the eye to make them appear larger.
Can be quite fiddly and it does take a little bit of practice.
For the lashes, Daisy's applying just a regular mascara, but of course for a more dramatic effect you could instead use stick-on lashes.
You can get them really cheap here, there and everywhere these days.
And finally, those glamorous 1940s lips.
Most popular colours of this time, of course, were reds, although pinks came in a good second. So if you use a pencil outline first, it kind of just stops your lipstick running.
Outline complete, Daisy then paints on the lipstick with a small brush. Next, it's onto the hair, which for the part of Helga requires a very specific style.
You'll find sometimes in the programme she wears it in finger waves, and sometimes she wears it just kind of coiffured back.
Daisy starts by separating two front sections of hair.
Now she has these gorgeous little plaits coming out like Heidi from the sides of her head. Comb this section back and take a small section at the very base of your hairline, just at your nape. And these are going to be the pieces of hair that are taken round and plaited.
Daisy clips the two back sections of hair aside for plaiting later. The rest of the excess hair is then combed and rolled together ready for pinning.
You roll the centre and make sure that's secure first, and then you can kind of tidy up the sides. I'm going to leave the back as it is because these bits are going to be swept into the back.
The bottom sections are now plaited and held at the ends with a simple hair grip, while Daisy returns to the front sections with rollers.
Take your rollers and roll them the way that you want the finger wave to go. If you do them on the side, then you're going to get a ringlet. And you can also do this for if you're doing the Mimi sort of style with the poodle on top.
Once the rollers are all securely held in place, Daisy then helps them to set quickly with a touch of hairspray.
Okay, we're just going to take these out. And you can always reinforce this. Use the straighteners to kind of create a wave.
The finger-waved hair is now pinned back in place on the side of the head.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the excess of the hair I've just pinned back and I'm just pinning it into the back section.
If you watch films or anything from that time, no one's hair's moving, is it?
No, definitely isn't.
And finally, the style is complete once the two plaited sections of hair from the back are brought to the front and pinned in place on the top of the head. And you're ready to add the all-important hat, which can also be secured with hair grips.
Yeah, if you were doing this every night for a run, I'd definitely allow about 25-30 minutes. Does that feel okay for you?
Yeah.
And there we have Helga from Hello Hello.
Are you ready, Hair Flick? I'm teasing and tantalising you.
But of course, 1940s glamour wasn't just reserved for those with a uniform or title.
There was military during the war, there was factory girls, there was land girls, and they were the iconic glamorous women. Hair was worn up, it was worn down, it was curled back, it was pinned in different ways, or it was worn under scarves and things like this.
Let's take a quick peek at that classic headscarf look, which is fairly easy to achieve given that most of the hair is covered up. Daisy combs out the hair and clips a front section out of the way. Then take the remainder of the hair and roll it as flat to the back of the head as possible. This can then be secured with pins. You won't need too many, and it doesn't need to look too neat as the scarf will cover this. The section of the hair is then divided into smaller sections, wrapped around the fingers and worked towards the head to give a pin curl effect. These two are secured with hair grips. Keep going until you've built up a few rows of curls, and you'll have a look similar to the poodle do sported by a Hello waitress, Mimi LeBlanc. Daisy then takes a headscarf, places it at the back of the head and ties it into a bow on top, also incorporating the back section of the triangle. Any loose hair is then simply tucked up inside the scarf, and there you have it, that classic 1940s headscarf look.
And then once you've done that, you can kind of play around with it and get it neater.
Well, that doesn't take too long.
No, it really doesn't.
But it is a really effective look, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of a classic 40s look. Basically, just have fun with your look, whatever look you're going for, whether it is factory or land or glamorous. Yeah, just have fun with it.
You've got that look that leaves me weak. You with your eyes across the table technique. You've got that look between the lines.